Alright, hello again guys. Today I'm making a garlic butter and shrimp dish that has corn, tomatoes, and fennel in it. If you don't like fennel, then get out of here. Just kidding. I do this dish a little bit differently than the recipe, but as always, I will link to the original recipe below to give credit where credit is due. So let's get into this recipe. We are gonna start with about 2 pounds of shrimp. Right here I'm just, peeling it. These were originally frozen, so what I did to thaw them quickly was put them in a bowl of cold water and they thaw up pretty quickly. It's a little non-chef hack for ya. And here we are with a beautiful bowl of shelled, peeled shrimps. Alright, we're moving on to the fennel portion of the recipe. I hear that fennel is a little controversial. Some people love it, some people hate it. I actually really like it, but I don't cook with it a lot. So a little fun confession of the day is that I had to Google how to cut fennel for this. And Martha Stewart has a really good YouTube tutorial that I found, and I'm basically mirroring that YouTube tutorial right now, but Martha Stewart, God bless, she is an icon. Alright, moving on to the fennel fronds. I saved these and I'm just gonna peel some of these off and do a little chop. I love the word fronds. I've never really heard it before this recipe, but I'm here for the name. Alright, so the cherry tomatoes. For this, I sliced all of the cherry tomatoes because I like less cherry tomatoes per bite, but the recipe calls for whole cherry tomatoes that are blistered until basically popping in the oven. I diverted from the recipe and I just kind of jazzed it up a little bit with sliced cherry tomatoes. Okay, I'm doing 4 very large cloves of garlic because I just feel like, certain dishes you can't have too much garlic. So I took a chance. This could be equivalent to like 6 cloves of garlic, but I like garlic. Here's 4 ears of corn that I sliced all of the kernels off of. And then I'm going to mix this with the fennel that I sliced up all nicely, the Martha Stewart style fennel. And then do a little extra virgin olive oil from Trader Joe's. Shout out to Trader Joe's. I love you. And then a little salt. I might have gone a smidge overboard with the salt in this because I also use regular salted butter and not unsalted butter. But I really liked it. So, maybe use a little less, or maybe use regular butter and not salted butter when you do this, but to each their own. I like things salty, and I'm just spreading it around on the pan right now before it goes into the oven. And the recipe calls for it to go into the oven for about 8 minutes to broil. I put it in the oven for about 16 minutes. I like it to be as caramelized and cooked through as possible. And here I'm mixing the salted butter, which it calls for unsalted, so whatever you decide to do. The garlic cloves, some of the lemon zest, a little more salt just in case you didn't have enough salt, but again, you can cut back on the amount of salt you use. And then it calls for red pepper flakes. I used a little more than the recipe called for, but I love red pepper flakes, so I just kind of went big. And I'm just gonna mix it all up and get the shrimp and the cherry tomatoes as coated in this butter as possible. The recipe actually calls for 6 tablespoons of butter, but I use an entire stick just because I'm an excessive gal, and the more butter, the better. And now I'm just spreading the shrimp and cherry tomato mixture over the charred corn and fennel. So that has come out of the oven for about 16 minutes, and I'm just putting this on top of it and spreading it out. And then you're just gonna put it in the oven to broil until the shrimp is opaque and the cherry tomatoes are bursting. And now it is finished. The dish is done. I'm putting it over buttered toast with a little bit of goat cheese. The recipe calls for feta, and I like goat cheese better. It's a little milder and it's also creamier, and feta's a little too crumbly for me. The recipe does not call for buttered toast either, but I like to turn it into kind of like a bruschetta type meal. I like buttered toast, and I just figure the more carbs the better. So on top of this whole dish, we are sprinkling some chopped basil on top, and it just kind of, you know, zhuzhes up the dish a little bit more. And there we have it, guys, the final product. It's amazing, it's filling, it's nutritious. Enjoy.